biggest point of advice with resumes is proofread, 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 proofread. And oh wait, when you thought you proofread, please proofread it again. The more eyes on the resume, the better. I would say anything from extra commas to spelling something in the English spelling of it versus like the American spelling of it. So like a word like supervisor. All of those things are really important. That is something that's really easy to see and go through and understand who you are, and they will be checking your resumes. So I would say the biggest mistake that I see on resumes that have been sent to me to be edited is it's just riddled with typos. Or you have different fonts being used in different sections, or the size of the letters that are being used are inconsistent. I know all of this feels like extraordinarily nitpicky. It's like, who is this girl in this video? Wow, really don't want to ever have a paper graded by her. But trust and believe me when I tell you, these are things that admissions counselors and recruiters across the country say, is that one of the biggest signs that someone did not work through something, did not proofread, or that they're not meticulous, or that they're not attentive to details, are the common mistakes made on a resume. I'm not saying this to scare you, but just to say, if you're wondering if you should send it to another person to check, you absolutely should. Please send it to that other person and make sure that there are no typos anywhere on that.
So simply put, a resume is another way in which you can show the admissions about yourself. It's a holistic review. It allows them to show your work experience, your extracurriculars, your community service, and the college that you went to or your educational background. So what do you include in your resume? Simply just the things that I've listed. But timeline-wise, how do you put that in, or what things do you include? So everything from your freshman year of college to the time of your application, you should include in your resume. And if you took time off before school, you started up school and redid it again, that time period counts as well. Everything from, I would say, like a collegial experience, when you began your collegial experience, or if you worked before you began your collegial experience, till the time in which you're applying. So you're thinking right now, that must be a lot of things. It can be a lot of things, which means that you can also have a 2-page resume. Unlike the 1-page resume that you're typically used to seeing, Harvard Law, along with other law schools, want to see who you are, want to see the things that you've been involved in, and want that listed out in a way that represents you. So go ahead and do those 2 pages and utilize those 2 pages. But make sure that they're pointed. Make sure that your bullet points express what you contributed and how you created an outcome in those situations. So the first part of your resume is your academic experience or academic background. So that will include your college that you went to, your GPA, your major, and then the other academic experiences that you have. So that could be, you got a master's, you got a PhD, you studied abroad, you did a domestic exchange. All of those things would be included there, along with the GPA that you had, as well as the major that you got from it. And if it's like a semester abroad, I would include it. In terms of like courses or random courses that you took, I would say only if those random courses, if you took a lot of those random courses for a semester and it's enough that you got like a semester transcript, then I would put it as a school. If those random courses that you took were just like one-off, I would say that for later on in your resume under like a skill set. So like maybe you developed a specific skill set from taking that class. So maybe you took a coding class and now like you can code. So like that's a skill that you have. And that's how you can speak to that that skill set. You can say, I'm a coder, and I'm a coder because I took a specific class. So in terms of that's the academic experience, academic portion, then you would have your work experience. Your work experience is any jobs that you did, whether in college, whether outside of college. Say you're like myself and you graduated and then spent 3 years out of school before returning to law school. That job matters as well. Or say you worked before you were going to college, or you worked simultaneously in college. That matters as well. So that's what you're going to include in your like work or job experience section. Job experience can be anything from being a babysitter. You were a cashier at Whole Foods. You interned at a law firm. You did an unpaid research assistant job for your professor. Like those along with many other things, count as a job experience. Just make sure that it's under the right heading and that you put bullet points that describe exactly what you did and how you contributed to that job. Next, what you're going to look at is your leadership experience, your extracurriculars. That would be anywhere from I was student body president, I led this club, I was a co-chair of this organization. And that could be anything that you did in college, or it could be things that you did outside of college. Say you're on a board of an organization, or you run a STEP team, or you do community service with a particular group. I would add those in to your resume section as well. And just make sure that you're using the right words and the active words to describe what you contributed to that given club or organization or extracurricular activity. And then you have a section that's like interest and skills, and that just allows the admissions to see a little bit about yourself. So for myself, I like to travel. I like to read, but I wouldn't just put reading. I like to read African American novels, and we talked about the coding before. So in the interest or skill set, I would be I can code. I like African American novels. I do photography. I'm also if you're into graphic designing, you could do that as well. So that's kind of the interest thing, because what a resume is, it gives the holistic view. Make sure that you reread your resume as many times as you can. There's no times too many. And also give someone else your resume for them to read, because they will catch mistakes because you've been reading it over and over and over again. They'll catch mistakes that you cannot see. So I would say give someone else your resume, allow them to look at it. Your bullet points need to make sure they're straight and on their one accord. Make sure that when you're listing the same bullet points under a specific attribute, if the lines of your resume look jagged, so make sure they're kind of in order. So that either means for some people, the longest bullet point goes first and then it goes down into this little cone shape, or the shortest bullet point goes first and it kind of goes down at the end into this little diagonal, down diagonal. Whichever way you do it, make sure it's consistent throughout your whole resume, but make sure there seems like there's some type of order, even in the way in which you're listing your bullet points. So, do you have any more questions? You probably do. And I'm just going to say breathe. In this process, it's going to be stressful. It's going to make you doubt yourself, but know who you are, know what you can contribute, because it's there and you are powerful. And any school deserves to have you. So take a look at your resume, take a deep breath, write down the list of all the things that you've accomplished in life this far, all the things that you've partaken in. Then rank them for yourself, because not everything is going to fit in your resume. Not everything that you may deem as important may fit in your resume. But make sure that you include things that make you who you are, things that you spent a lot of time on and a lot of energy with, and also make sure you include those jobs, extracurriculars, leadership opportunities that you can speak to when you have an interview. And I hope that this helped you, and happy almost there. As you're part of this process, you should reward yourself at different points. You will finish your resume, you will get it done, and you'll be one step closer to your dream.